Hello there, this is the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the latest headlines. Bracing for an opposition onslaught in monsoon session, BJP holds meet to decide the strategy on controversies involving Lalit Modi and Vyapam scam. IPL governing body meets to decide fallout of punishment for CSK and Rajasthan Royals. 5-member panel to study Lodha panel's verdict. 4-storied building collapses in West Delhi. 4 people killed. Rescue team search for overnight survivors. And days after the Iran nuclear agreement, US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter starts tour of the Middle East to ease fears over the deal. Well, the biggest story ahead of the monsoon session that starts on Tuesday, the NDA is bracing for an opposition onslaught on various issues, including the land bill and also the Vyapam scam. Now, all indications are that the government will repromulgate the land ordinance for a record 4th time. The monsoon session starts on 21st of July and will end on 13th of August. Senior BJP leaders, including Rajasthan Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje, meeting for a key strategy session to take on the opposition during the monsoon session. The meeting was held at Party President Amit Shah's residence in Delhi. Raje is in the thick of the controversy over her links with former IPL chairman Lalit Modi, along with the Vyapam scam. It is expected to be a major issue that will be exploited by the Congress and the left to target BJP leaders and the government. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself indicated as much late last week.
अब हम यहाँ मस्ती से बैठे हैं, लेकिन परसों देखना आप कैसा मुकाबला होता है.
Modi also convened a meeting of the NDA constituents, the first of its kind, on Monday, ahead of the session that starts on Tuesday. With no consensus on the land bill, the government is likely to promulgate the ordinance for an unprecedented 4th time. The opposition has signalled that the bill will not be allowed to pass.
किसानों की बात आई, हम ऑर्डिनेंस पास करेंगे भैया. 3 बार ऑर्डिनेंस पास कर दिया. दम नहीं है, पार्लियामेंट में पास नहीं होने देंगे हम, देख लेना. 1 इंच जमीन नहीं जाएगी.
Agency reports said that the Joint Committee of Parliament headed by BJP MP SS Ahluwalia that is looking into the land bill meanwhile plans to seek a 2-week extension till 3rd of August to finalize its report. Further extensions may also be sought as the government did not want to bring the bill before Parliament until after the Bihar Assembly polls in September-October this year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. In other news, even as the CBI stepped up its investigation into the Vyapam job scam, the agency has highlighted instances of alleged inaction by the state police in probing many deaths suspected to be related to the case. Take a look.
The CBI has registered a preliminary inquiry into 9 deaths believed to be related to the Vyapam scam in Madhya Pradesh. No action has been initiated in any of these cases by the state police. The CBI will focus on finding if the deaths were indeed a fallout of the Vyapam scandal. On the political front, the BJP called Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan for a meeting believed to be on the issue. The opposition once again sought the resignation of Chauhan on the issue and questioned the Prime Minister as well. Congress Chief Whip in the Lok Sabha, Jyotiraditya Scindia, has already said the issue will be raised during the Parliament session. He said the party is expected to focus in particular on the issue of the death of TV journalist Akshay Singh, who went to Meghnagar in Jhabua district to cover the case.
People working in the media should have protection, that ensures that they're not killed while exposing any scams. This death needs to be probed because the roots of Vyapam are too deep and people who are involved in it are of higher authority.
The death of Akshay Singh also came into international focus with a UN body calling for a probe into his death on Saturday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the politics around the murder of a young woman by 2 brothers over a case of verbal abuse is fast heating up in Delhi. The Aam Aadmi Party government is alleging that this is one more instance of the deteriorating law and order situation in the national capital. Now, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has summoned Delhi Police Commissioner B.S. Basi for a meeting on Monday, besides seeking a detailed report on the incident in West Delhi. He also made a strong pitch for handing over of the Delhi police to the city government. And the police commissioner defended his force, saying that he will certainly try to dispel misconceptions about their functioning in the upcoming meeting. He said that no changes are required in its administration structure. And this comes as AAP youth wing workers staged a demonstration in front of the Delhi police headquarters today. And the victim's family said that no FIR was registered despite repeated complaints of stalking in the past. The 19-year-old was repeatedly stabbed by two brothers on Thursday in the Anand Parbat area. A magisterial probe has now been ordered into the case.
अब चूंकि एक रिक्वेस्ट आई है माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के कार्यालय से, उनके प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी से मुझे, तो मैं ज़रूर जाऊंगा, मैं ज़रूर जाकर विचारों का आदान प्रदान करूंगा।
सिस्टम में कमी आ गई है जो हैंडल नहीं कर पा रही है, और इसको पॉलिटिसाइज करना, क्योंकि ये आवाम के लिए है, तो मैं समझती हूँ इसको पॉलिटिकल साइज करना और एक दूसरे को ब्लेम करना, इससे हल नहीं निकलने वाला है। मैं सबको ये कह रही हूँ और मैं इसमें विश्वास रखती हूँ कि कमीशन बैठाना चाहिए कि पुलिस की ट्रेनिंग में क्या तब्दीली लानी चाहिए, पुलिस किस तरह से ऐसी चीज़ों को रिस्पॉन्ड करे।
आई थिंक सिचुएशन इन दिल्ली इज टोटली अनएक्सेप्टेबल. The central government roles and responsibility is every time blamed by the state government, and by that they absolve themselves of the responsibility because they every time make an excuse that police is not under their control. Now, what kind of a promise did he make? Did he not realize this is the situation in Delhi that is going to be developing in future?
And more news from the national capital, where 4 people are confirmed dead in a building collapse in West Delhi locality last evening. Rescue efforts continued well into the night. A young girl is still suspected to be trapped under the debris. The death toll rose today, even as the Delhi government ordered an inquiry and lodged an FIR against unidentified persons. The district magistrate assured a report within a week and strict action against the culprits. The Delhi government accused the BJP-led MCD of failing to ensure compliance with the safety standard charges, which the civic body denied. The civic body said that the seepage in sewer lines could have weakened the foundation of the building, leading to its collapse.
पूरी की पूरी बिल्डिंग साइड में गिर गई है। उस बिल्डिंग के गिरने की वजह से 4 लोगों की डेथ हुई है और 8 लोग घायल हुए थे।
हादसे जब होते हैं बारिश के कारण, जिस कारण से भी एमसीडी के लोग, एमसीडी की कमेटी, हमने अपने मेयर को कहा है, हमने अपने कमिश्नर को उनको कहा है कि उसके बारे में वो जांच करें कि घटना किस कारण से हुई है। अब घटना किसी ने कोई जानबूझ करके करा दी क्या? या हम सवाल ये है कि हम किस तरह की बात कर रहे हैं।
And some more national news and updates in nationwide. Uttarakhand is expecting a landslide in wake of a crack in Varunawat mountain in the region. The residents of nearby localities in Indira Colony and Ujhansi said that the cracks are 25-meter long and 4 to 5 inches wide. Houses situated at the foot of the mountain area especially are under high risk. Authorities informed that geoscientists had been deployed to survey the damage and recommend appropriate action. At least 2 people were killed and over 20 others injured in a stampede as security forces struggled to control a crowd of over 1 million Hindu devotees during the annual chariot festival of Lord Jagannath in Puri. The injured were taken to local hospitals while those in a serious condition were taken to medical college in Cuttack. 3 people are feared to have died in a landslide on the Mumbai-Pune expressway today. The busy expressway was closed for traffic. The landslide took place near Adoshi Tunnel, which is close to Lonavala. Both the lanes of the expressway are closed, and the highway police have been appealed, in fact, to the motorists to use the old Mumbai-Pune road. The high-stakes battle for Bihar, essentially between the BJP and the Janata Parivar, is likely to be fought in a multi-phased election to the Assembly, probably between late October and early November. Now, hectic work is on to tie up various issues before the full commission makes a visit to Bihar for assessing the preparedness of the state's electoral machinery ahead of finalizing the poll schedule. Now, Chief Election Commissioner Zaidi and Election Commissioner Anshul Kumar Jyoti are likely to visit Patna early next month for discussions with top officials. Well, time to take a very short break here. After the break, we'll get you all the international news, including after the Chattanooga shootout, US steps up security in defense installations.
Hello, I am Ishan Russell.
I'm Tracy Shilchi and you're watching News Tonight.
Together with the team of our
Dedicated professionals from across various fields.
This is Shyam Sundar,
Vishal Dahiya,
Akhilesh Suman,
Frank Pereira from Beijing, China.
Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
We bring to you
the news that matters here on Rajya Sabha TV.
Down the ages, jewellery has been the pride of the Indian culture. In the Harappan period, it attained perfection in flattened gold bands. From the Mauryan period came the exquisite gold brooches. Many ornaments were an extension of religious practices, like the Gauri Shankaram Rudraksh necklace worn by the temple priest. Rings with lids preserved the taweez that held secret messages and sometimes even poison. Tradition dating back centuries. A cultural heritage that inspires and warms at once. Magic that awes. Rajya Sabha Television brings you events that embrace the wonders of India's classical arts. Conversations with the biggest names in the culture and music. Rajya Sabha Television, democracy at work.
Welcome back after the break. Let's get to some international news now. Well, days after deadly shootings at two military facilities in the United States, now governors of 6 states there have moved an order to arm the military personnel at offices and National Guard facilities to deter such attacks. Now, the shooting that killed 4 US Marines and a Navy sailor is being investigated as an act of domestic terrorism. It raised questions about the vulnerability of the country's troops on home soil. Here is more. The US is reviewing security at its military recruiting centers. 3 days after the Chattanooga shooting, in which a gunman killed 4 US Marines and a sailor, besides injuring many others in Tennessee, governors of 6 US states are ordering National Guard members at facilities to be armed. Other security improvements could include provision of bulletproof glass and enhanced surveillance equipment.
We have 6 retail recruitment centers around the state. They're immediately closed down. Those recruitment officers are moved to the closest armory. We have 55 armories across the state of Florida. They will not be reopened until we're comfortable that our National Guard members are safe.
Meanwhile, details are emerging on 24-year-old Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz, the gunman killed in the shootout with police. A night before the shooting, he sent a text linked to his friends, which was a religious verse about declaring war. Abdulaziz also spoke out against conflicts in the Middle East. Police said that his motives are being investigated, even as mourners gathered at a makeshift memorial to pay their respects to the 5 servicemen who were killed.
I didn't think anything like this would ever happen in our city, a small, close-knit community. And again, no words can express the devastation, the sorrow that we feel for not only our community but our nation.
Abdulaziz began Thursday's attack with the shooting spree at a recruitment center in Chattanooga. He then drove 10 kilometers to a Navy and Marine Reserve center where he shot and killed 4 Marines. A fifth victim, a Navy officer, died of his injuries on Saturday. The shooting raised questions about the vulnerability of US troops on home soil. US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter has also asked the military services to determine if additional steps are needed to be taken to ensure the safety of people at military installations. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And from US to the Middle East, US Secretary of Defense Ashton Carter is in Israel to allay the countries and also Arab nations' fears on the recently signed Iran nuclear deal. The White House has launched an aggressive lobbying campaign to sell the accord at home and also abroad. It is facing deep skepticism from lawmakers and also traditional US allies. Now, Obama is looking to build enough support in Congress to sustain a veto of any resolution disapproving of the deal.
The Iran nuclear agreement is complete, but the debate over the deal has just begun. US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter has begun a tour of the Middle East to ease fears over the deal. Today, Carter will meet officials in Israel, one of the strongest critics of the deal. Carter then travels to Saudi Arabia, Iran's main regional rival. However, Israeli leadership has rejected US's idea that the world powers could not have reached a better agreement with Iran over its nuclear program. The country has also hinted that it could ask for increased US military aid as a counterweight to the accord.
אם מישהו חשב שהוויתורים המפליגים לאיראן יביאו לשינוי במדיניותה, הוא קיבל בסוף השבוע תשובה מוחצת בנאומו התוקפני והמתריס של שליט איראן חמינאי.
Last Wednesday, world powers reached agreement with Iran on limiting the country's nuclear activity in return for lifting of sanctions. Netanyahu has called the deal a historic mistake, which would only make it easier for Iran to back its proxies in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader vowed on Saturday that the deal would not alter Iran's policies towards the United States. However, he also praised the Iranian negotiators who struck the deal.
ایستادگی ملت، مقاومت ملت و بر اثر شهامت و
Saudi Arabia has officially said it supports the deal, although it is also thought to have similar concerns to Israel that the agreement legitimizes Iran. However, US President Barack Obama has strongly defended the landmark deal, but the pressure is only going to increase over his administration over the next 2 months as congressional Democrats struggle with whether to provide opponents with the votes needed to kill the deal. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for more international news and updates, here is Global Buzz. UK Prime Minister pledged to help America destroy self-styled Islamic State extremists in Iraq and Syria as he gave his clearest signal yet that UK forces could be asked to join airstrikes. Now, Cameron is expected to announce a 5-year plan for fighting the terrorist group on Monday. Iraqi forces continued their major offense to free key cities and towns held by Islamic State militants in Iraq's western province of Anbar. The aim of this offensive by the security forces and their allies is to recapture the militant seized city of Fallujah, which is about 50 kilometers from Baghdad. A fast-moving brush fire swept across the California interstate on Friday, torching vehicles and sending people running for their lives before burning property in a dense town. A rare summer storm helped firefighters advance on Saturday as light rain and moist air also dampened the blaze in the mountainous area in the northeast of Los Angeles. High flood waters destroyed buildings and swept away cars after a heavy storm in central Arizona on Saturday. Up to 3,000 homes and businesses were left without power as more than 50 electrical poles were knocked down. There were no reports of any injuries to anybody. Well, another short break here. Up next, we'll get you all the sports news, including India advances to World Group Playoffs after 3-2 win over New Zealand in Davis Cup tie. Details to follow. Stay with us.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television. India's star shining in global affairs.
The professional army of any country does not have faith, piety and jihad in the name of God.
From regional power to assertive global leader.
Sri Lanka denies that these violations took place.
We want India to be a superpower. We have been doing everything for decades, and we have been giving to India everything best we have.
Experts debate the nation's foreign policy.
We should not have any political preference of ours so far as Nepal is concerned.
Taliban were the creatures of Pakistan. Whatever people may say, they were created by Pakistan.
India's World with Bharat Bhushan on Rajya Sabha Television.
Hello, I am Ishan Russell.
I'm Tracy Shilchi and you're watching News Tonight.
Together with the team of our
dedicated professionals from across various fields.
This is Shyam Sundar,
Vishal Dahiya,
Akhilesh Suman,
Frank Pereira from Beijing, China.
Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
We bring to you
the news that matters here on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching news at 6. Now, the IPL Governing Council today formed a subcommittee to delve deep into the judgment issued on the 2 IPL teams by the Justice Lodha Committee. Now, this committee is to submit its report in the next 6 weeks. With the Chennai Super Kings and Rajasthan Royals suspended from the format for the next 2 years, the board now needs to decide on the changes which are required for the next edition of IPL.
The fate of the 2 suspended IPL teams hangs in balance as the troubled IPL Governing Council met in Mumbai today. The body discussed repercussions of the punishment handed down by the Justice Lodha Committee to the Chennai Super Kings and Rajasthan Royals. The IPL Governing Council, headed by Rajiv Shukla, will also chart a future course of action for the T20 event. Shukla assured that the judgment issued by the Lodha Committee will be implemented to the book.
Within 6 months, it will be submitting its report. We have decided to implement the Lodha Committee report in toto, in letter and spirit. Whatever they have recommended, we are going to implement it, and we respect the verdict, and accordingly we are going to act.
The council has decided to form a 5-member subcommittee to study the Lodha panel's verdict and submit its report within 6 weeks' time. There's a massive tug-of-war raging among the members of the governing body. One lobby strongly feels the team's contracts need to be terminated with immediate effect, but others feel the 2-year suspension is punishment enough and terminating their contracts will harm the brand IPL. Both teams have made an 8-year investment in the tournament.
A subgroup is being constituted which will recommend what all is to be done.
Shukla promised that the verdict and the future decisions by the council will have little effect on the tournament as such, and the next edition will be bigger and better.
In future, and we can say that everybody is of the opinion that show must go on, the value of league should be enhanced. So IPL 9, I am still saying and reiterating, is going to be better than the previous editions.
The Supreme Court appointed Justice Lodha Disciplinary Committee has left the issue of termination of contracts of the IPL franchisees with the BCCI. One of the options available for the IPL is to run the 2 suspended teams with BCCI control. However, issues of conflict of interest could crop up again. The council has to negotiate a very tricky path full of legal hurdles. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now some good news coming in from tennis. Well, India has advanced to World Group playoffs following a 3-2 win over New Zealand in the Asia-Oceania Group 1 Davis Cup tie. Well, it was a do-or-die situation for India, who were trailing the tie 1-2 after the shock defeat in the doubles yesterday. Now needing to win both reverse singles, now Somdev Devarman levelled the tie with a straight set win over Marcus Daniel in the first match. Now a fired-up then Yuki Bhamri recorded his first ever victory in a tie fifth rubber as he beat Michael Venus 6-2, 6-2, 6-3. India will now strive to make the World Group when they compete in the playoffs in September this year. And more sporting action in Sports Beat. Brazilian football legend Pelé was admitted back to hospital 2 months after a prostate surgery. Now reports say that the 74-year-old was suffering from a trapped nerve and has had a back surgery at the Albert Einstein Hospital in Sao Paulo. The three-time World Cup winner was treated for a urinary infection 8 months ago after having kidney stones removed. Former FIFA Vice President Jeffrey Webb has pleaded not guilty in connection with a massive corruption scandal in the World Football governing body. Now, Webb, who is accused of accepting bribes worth millions of dollars in connection with the sale of marketing rights, was detained in Switzerland in May along with 6 football officials. He was later extradited to the United States. Josep Maria Bartomeu was re-elected as Barcelona president for a second term after he beat former president Juan Laporta in Saturday's election. The 52-year-old will now lead the club for the next 6 years. Bartomeu has endured a turbulent spell, having taken over in January 2014 from Sandro Rosell, who stood down following the Neymar transfer scandal. Leighton Hewitt put Australia into the Davis Cup semi-finals after winning the decisive singles rubber against Kazakhstan. Australia will meet either Britain or France for a place in their first final since 2003. Argentina also advanced to the semis after taking an unassailable 3-0 lead against Serbia. Well, that's all in this edition of News at 6. Thanks so much for watching. Keep watching Rajya Sabha television. Thanks.